Hello and welcome to part 4 of this C++ coding homework where we are creating Animal Crossing patterns. We are now ready to start actually drawing our patterns. The first one to draw is the box. So, alright, so the box, according to the exercise, simply is 15 by 15. Well, like a square, but it won't be a square, it will be more like a rectangle. But that's because how the symbols or the characters are spaced out in the console, or when they're read. So, all right. So the first thing I'm going to create is our loop. So this is going to be obviously outer loop and inner loop because we are using rows and columns. So the first one will be drawing the rows. So I'll call it r equals 0. R is less than the number of elements, which is 15 in our case, but it can be changed, and r plus plus. So this is the looping through the rows. All right, so that's the rows. Now let's do the columns. So for integer c for columns is again 0. C is less, again, since it's 15 by 15, it's the same number of elements, and c plus plus. So this one is, I'm gonna copy paste the comment and just place it here through the columns. All right, so if you look at the pattern, we are, the first line and the last line is 15 axis or 15, I don't know if we have x as our pattern. Let me just see. Yeah, we do. Okay, so it's 15 axis in our top line and our bottom line, and after that it's every first and every 15th character that is being x, and in between, remember, we have the fill character, which is a space. So in order to draw that, we need to check where we are in the pattern. So if the row equals 0, or in other words, if this is the first row, or if this is the last row, so if the r equals the number of elements, which is 15, but we're starting from 0, so we need to add -1, number of elements minus 1, which gives you 14, but starting from 0, it will give you 15. So this is the first and last line are filled with symbols. So if this is the case, I have something wrong with my brackets here. Yeah, that should be all right. So if r equals is the first line or the last line of the pattern, then we can output the symbol. So we are cout symbol. Okay, so you know what, let me just remove these because this is gonna be just one line. So basically, if it's the first or last line, we will fill it with symbols, 15 symbols, or axes in our case. Else if this is the first or the last character in the line, then we will write the symbol as well. So if it's c equals 0, or c equals the number of elements, in other words, first or the last, again, -1, of course, again, because we are we're starting to count from 0, then we will do cout symbol. If it's not the first or last element in line, or if it's not the first line or the last line, then we will fill it with, if you remember from one of our previous videos, we have our fill character, which is an empty space. So we will draw an empty space. So else cout, and we will do our fill character. But it's supposed to be not symbol, but I'm passing variable called pattern symbol. So I'm just gonna paste that, oops, in it instead of symbol. My bad. Okay, so that should be all, and we should be able to, oh, something's wrong. Double. There you go. So that should do it. Let me run it. And we have, well, a bunch of axes, and well, we have the first line, and something happened there. And the thing that happened is that we keep writing into the same line. So after we do our row, we need to go and add an empty, move the cursor to the next line. So cout and line. So if I run it again, here is our box. Yay. Okay, now the exercise wants us to add another 2 empty lines, just like we did for the error message, if you remember. Like after each pattern, we need to add 2 empty lines. So I'm just gonna copy paste cout and run it again, and now I should get 2 empty lines on the bottom. So that is correct. Now the thing is that again, we are not supposed to be writing to a console, but instead to an output file. So I'm gonna copy paste this, and I'm gonna borrow that and paste it over here into our draw box, because that stays the same, except I'm going to use out here, and that's because I want to override it. I don't want to keep adding to the file. I just want to create a new file every time this thing runs. So I have my output file. So all I have to do now, when it says cout, I have to print into our output file, just like this. And since I have it open at the end, I can do our output file dot close. Okay, so if I run it now, oh, it doesn't really say anything. It just says press any key to continue. But if I check our patterns.txt file, you can see that our box is there. And we still have the invalid pattern error message, and that's probably because, yeah, I didn't change the invalid input, but it says I still have it as 7, which is invalid input. So if I change it back to 4, so all the input is valid from that input.txt. If I run it now, I get a file. Again, there's nothing there. This one is telling me that the file patterns.txt changed, which is true because I just output it and I have it open, so I click yes to display the changes. And now the error message is gone because the input is valid, and here's our box and 2 empty lines. All right, so the box seems to be working fine, and I'm just gonna comment over here, every character between the symbols is a blank fill character, just so we know what's going on there. All right, so this is our box. In the next video, we will draw the X. So stick around, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.